Hello everyone, this is my recording for Love in the Time of Tamagotchi by Dominic Pittman. And this is a very interesting reading, and I was really glad that I actually got to do the review on it because I've always been a fan of Japanese culture and as a whole, and especially their games. I mean, I'm a self-proclaimed Pokemon fan, and I do feel a sort of attachment to my Pokemon team, so it actually made me reflect. So let's get this going. So what is otaku culture? It's an urban legend that us in the West believe exists there. I'm not talking about the website that talks about video games. I am actually talking. Otaku means a male that is always in his house and is very secluded from society. And it's also really embarrassing to them to be an otaku in Japan. It's like the worst thing you could be. And what they do is they spend most of their time playing a lot of virtual games, reading anime, manga, all of that. Um, they know that the women are fake and they know that they're not gonna get anywhere with them, but they still try to pursue them and even go as far as buying pillows in the form of the women, or as they call it, the waifu that they are in love with. Some cry when they're rejected. So let's go to the first part, which is love and technology, and they talk about game space, which is uh, it's a coded world according to video games that only exists in the video game. However, in this day and age, games morph into real life and vice versa, and it creates an illusion that our us players, in this case, they're talking about women because this is what an otaku does. But in our case, you can be playing and be submerged completely into the video game you're in. This was said by Mackenzie Wark, and what struck me out the most about what she said is that the options you have to choose your players are just so similar as to if you want a blonde or a brunette. It has gotten to that point. Then this flickering signifier tool is something that the media uses that enhances our love for pop singers and actresses. It makes us feel that we are close to them, we can relate to them, and this has become so big nowadays when we can all reach them with Twitter and Instagram. We feel very close to them. They can answer our questions. We can relate. We don't only have to watch them on TV and pictures. We can actually engage with them, which has made us think that we are their friends. Um, and that's another thing that they touch upon is that we can love people, but can we also love our like machines? Like, can I love my iPhone? I mean, I do. I can't live without it. So let's go back a little bit. The cultural differences between Japan and some other Asian countries and us here in the West are very big. A lot of people that I've known from Japan actually get a culture shock coming here and vice versa because we are much more lovable, which I am Mexican, and for me, an American is very, like, get away from me. And for us, Japanese people are even worse. So there's a point that comes in the paper that the phrase "I love you" in Japan doesn't mean much. Actually, the "skides" means "I like you" in Japanese, which also means "I love you." And it's interesting because there's only one word for "I like you," "I love you." There's not a lot of emphasis in this. And what has happened is that technology that reaches everyone has closed this gap because, as I said earlier, now we can have feelings for our video games in our iPads and computers. Um, it's called the noosphere by Bernatsky and Teilhard, and they say that the boundaries are completely closed. Like, we feel so close and so connected that we love our characters. So the paper then touches upon a topic that is called Dating Sims, Meru Tomus, and the Serendipity System. So a sim, as you probably know, is a character in a computer game which you create and you can completely control. And apparently some people fall in love with him. You need to understand how broad the I and you has become in the phrase I love you. I can love a you that is not a human being. Jen Luck, Nancy, and Katja Silverman talk about this. It's no, I think it's not a I think therefore I am thing anymore. It's I am love, therefore I am. And there can be many I's, and there can be many U's. What they talk about too is that courtship has existed throughout all humanity, and I mean we haven't been in Earth for that long, but for forever, having a partner in life has been very important. And today there's no distinction. Like someone can be glued to their phone and not care about having a significant other. Then the data sim part focuses exactly in it's very popular in Asian countries, not so much in American and European. And they use a very great example, which is called Tokimeki. It's one of Konami's most famous games, and it has manga, anime, live graphics, you know, the big eyes and very voluptuous boobs. And this game follows a story where a male student tries to make all the girls fall in love with him by with courtship. So he does homework, he plays the sports, blah blah blah, and you win by making all of them fall in love with you. So the Toki memo has been so successful that it has found a bunch of merchandises and a lot of spin-offs and online communities. It's just like a Tamagotchi for kids, but instead of taking care of a pet, you take care of a roommate. And another thing that was really interesting is that ISPs have included dating sim data for their plans because it's so popular. This is a question that they ask is this a new type of long distance relationship? Because it is not that they live in different countries, but again, this is a virtual character. It's not a real person. So there is some sort of distance. Meru Thomas means male friends, and this is a phenomenon that I had never heard before, and it's actually where Japanese kids, male, exchange predominantly sexual text messages where they talk about a lot of things that they couldn't talk about with other people. Sorry, that is my cat. And they perceive this people that I've never met as true friends. So what is happening is that these kids cannot do real relationships because they depend so much on their friends on the phone and they don't talk to actual people. And then the serendipity system, which was said by Bruno Latour in 2004, explains this as a filtering and sorting engines that recommend products to us based on our likes. So you know you go on Amazon and you like, I don't know, let's say a cable for your computer. It's gonna start recommending you cables and cables and cables. Or you like Superman, and so it's gonna start recommending you Superman products. That is the serendipity system, and it's very tricky because then we can start feeling very close to our computer because it knows what we like. The next point is eharmony.com, Thomas in Love and Idol. eHarmony is very powerful and successful nowadays. I mean, now we know that a lot of people find their spouses online, and they have so much power that people stop going out. They just depend completely on dating websites, like Tinder, for example. People use Tinder more than actually going to a bar to find friends. And then Thomas in Love is a movie where Thomas falls in love with a machine, which is really like, it sounds weird, but if you think of Her, the very recent movie, they make machines so real that people actually fall in love with them. Same as in the book Idoru. It's actually a really real thing that is happening right now. If you go back to otakus, these kids or adults are in love with their avatars. But what makes this very tricky is that technology still hasn't found a way to communicate eye-to-eye contact, which love is very dependent on this. When you're talking to an avatar, they are talking to you, but they're not really talking to you. They're talking to whoever it is. When you're having a conversation one-on-one with an actual person, you engage in conversation. Then the one thing that they touch upon is Carrie, and they've sort of created good responses, but we in the West, we don't want to be a part of this because we don't like interacting with things that don't love us. Like I don't like talking to my iPad, to Siri, for example, because I know she's not really listening to me. And Kari is a virtual girlfriend who claims to be the most advanced girlfriend, and it makes us feel that we're actually talking. There's an example in the reading of a conversation with Kari, but if you really think about it, it's not very intimate at all whatsoever. So what's the point? Are you talking to a machine? Um, so what this is making happen in Japan is that a lot of people are jealous of the relationships. I don't know. Let's say it's a couple and the husband is spending a lot of time with Kari. Maybe he sees it as a game, but the spouse might get jealous because the connection can be pretty huge. And so this concludes by saying that the Tamagotchi generation, aka us millennials, has more than one type of love. And I mean, I have to agree because, like I said prior, I do play Pokemon, and I really feel very close to my Pokemon. Okay, sorry that it was a little long, but I really wanted to touch upon all the points because it's really important and it's really relevant. And my questions are, have you ever played or known someone who plays a virtual girlfriend game? If so, what was the experience? What did you do to it? Like any experience. Then, as fast as technology is advancing, do you think that with the introduction of AI to households, schools, and other institutions, the way we perceive friendship will change? Can we really form relationships with the machines? For this, I really recommend you guys watch 2001: A Space Odyssey because it's a classic, but it touches upon this. And lastly, how attracted are you to game characters and the such, and how do you react to them? Again, like I said, I love my Pokemon team. I know they're not real, but if they faint, I feel like some sort of pain. Anyways, this has dragged it long, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed it and have a great day.